I would give kids the join website, and they would just enter in a PIN number to that specific game that they want to join. So I think like Jackbox games. And then they're able to either buzz in their answer, buzz in to answer the question, or what I did, since it was Black History Trivia, I chose to do multiple choice so they can like choose whichever answer they want to go with. And then the site like calculates the amount of points that they get, so you don't have to worry about that. But it's super cool. The kids I had really enjoyed it. So that's one if you've never heard of it before. Amanda, the site, there is a free option, but of course you don't get all the perks. So my library has the Business Pro. There's the free option, Home or School, and then Business Pro. And your library will probably be fine with homeschool option. And it's fairly cheap. I think it's like $49 a year for the homeschool, and then around $90 a year for the Business Pro. There's the limit to the number of kids is, I believe there's like 100 participants.
Oh, wow.
That can join. So there's a lot that can join. And you can also do it as teams if you want to do it that way to allow for more people as well.
That's awesome. Just a reminder, guys, I am recording this room, and I'm also going to be just taking notes on all the stuff you guys mentioned so that I can make sure we don't miss anything and we can send that out later. But that's great because we have been doing online trivia at my library, and it has been a huge hassle. I've never heard of Tactile. So what we've been doing is just using Zoom and like creating like PowerPoints, and then just sharing screen and doing trivia that way. But it's really difficult because we make them mute themselves and use the chat so they're not like yelling, over each other. But it kind of is, I don't know, it's kind of unfair almost because like it's like the fastest typist always wins, wins the point. And we have to like manually keep track of it then. Like on a piece of paper, I'll just be like, okay, they got this one, they got this one. So it's good to know there's an easier way to do this.
It's amazing, the help information. So if you have any questions on how to use it, all that information they list on there is so good and so simple to understand and then to use as well. So, and they do have breakout options. So if you use Zoom and you want to do breakout rooms and you have multiple staff members that you want to be hosts, you can play the same board game because the code that the kids enter, it will make the games act independently of each other. So you can have like a group of 10 kids with one staff member playing one game, and then another group of like 10 kids play the same game, but it's independent of the other group. So it's awesome.
That's really cool. Can I just ask kind of as a group question, how many of you have libraries that are open right now and doing in-person programming? You can all answer.
My library just opened, I think this is week 3, but there's no in-person programming.
Okay, all right. Anybody else? Anybody have I guess what I'm wondering is, how long do you guys anticipate doing online programming at your library?
My library is we're open, but we're only doing virtual programming, and right now it's until at least the fall. Like all our summer is virtual, and fall we haven't really heard, but probably if we do any in-person stuff, it's going to be like really slowly phased in. So as of right now, we're just planning virtual only.
Yeah. Okay, I was kind of curious. My library is actually opening for the first time next week, and it's just for really limited hours. But it seems to be kind of the consensus that we're going to be doing virtual programming through the summer, and possibly maybe some in person in the well, except for outside, outside programming in the summer. But so I don't know about you guys, but I am just like so over what I've been doing for virtual programming. Does anyone have anything like new and exciting they're doing virtually for like SRC or even in the spring that they want to share? Anything that, or that kids are still coming to? Because what I found at my library is that attendance for those virtual programs has really started to taper off. I think because the kids are just like over Zoom and everything. Anybody want to weigh in on that?
The only program that I have that's virtual that actually has a pretty good following is my virtual D&D, because they're D&D players. They are, you know, dedicated, and they're also the same ones that when it was nice outside and we could actually have outdoor programming, we just met at the park under a shelter house and we did D&D, and then as it got colder, we kind of migrated into the virtual programming. But other than that, I have a teen program that maybe has a total of 4 kids. And I mean, they're the same 4 all the time. But other than that, it just seems like there's really not a lot of interest for virtual for the teens.
Mm-hmm.
My library specifically has a lot of tweens, but we do get some teens as well. And so far we've done 2 virtual escape rooms and they've been super popular. We did one Halloween themed one last year and we got around 20 kids. And then in January, I want to say, we had another escape room. It was Isle of Mysteries was the theme, and we had around 32 kids. So, and we just use Google Forms with that to create it.
So how does that, I have not done a virtual escape room yet or participated in one. Does anyone want to like walk through how that looks virtually? Because we've done in-person ones, but I don't really know how that would work.
So you can actually Google, I think that I forgot which library it is that I Googled, and they had done a Harry Potter themed virtual escape room using Google Forms, and it's super easy. I suggest, of course, reading up on Google Forms if you've never used it before, but what the staff that have helped create it, what we've done is we'll usually come up with a theme, what we want the storyline for the escape room to be, and then we will basically start creating what our clues are going to be, and then putting that into the Google Forms. So like for one clue, it'll be like a number clue or something like that. And then in order for them to continue, they have to choose the correct answer. If they choose the wrong answer, then the next screen will say, no, that's the wrong answer, and it will take them back to figure out the clue. But if they get it correct, then it will advance them to the next part of the form where it will go into the next clue until they complete it, if that makes sense.
That does, yeah, that does make sense. That's cool. I don't know, I think I've been a little nervous about that because it just seems like I think it seems harder to me than it probably is, like, to play it. It just is a little intimidating to me for some reason, so.
I can always give you the because I've only assisted with putting it together, so I can always give you the contact information of our lead librarian that actually like knows how to use the Google form really well too. So
yeah, that would be great. And then
I was going to try and do a different take on that.
yeah.
Now, it could be dumb, but I'm going to try and do like we were told to try and plan to possibly do stuff live in the summer. So I was trying to plan an escape room with small groups, possibly August. And then if I can't, my backup plan is to have like a live escape room, but have like me as an avatar that they can control. So they can kind of talk to me over Zoom and have me interact with objects and things throughout the room. So that's kind of what I'm going to try and do. It could be horrible, but that's what I want to give a shot.
That is cool. I never would have thought of that. So wait, so they're on Zoom, but they control you?
Yeah, I'm gonna have like a GoPro. I'm gonna use like one of those and like live stream the video to where they can kind of tell me which way they want me to go, what they want me to interact with, and kind of give answers and things from the room that will be set up in one of our rooms. So that's kind of like my fallback plan if we can't have people in here.
I like that. I kind of came up with something similar, was like an idea of sort of choose your own adventure, but I was calling it choose your librarian's adventure, and I was going to have little obstacles or things through the building and have them say, you know, okay, go this way or go that way, and have different outcomes. So it's kind of a similar thing. I haven't actually put it together yet. It's just in an idea phase. So I'd be kind of curious to hear how it goes if you do it. We pretty much have summer plans, so if I do it, it probably wouldn't be till the fall. But if you do it and it turns out good, I'd be interested to hear how that goes.
So would I for both of those. And, you know, you guys, I don't know how many of you are on Facebook, but if you are, we have a pretty active Facebook page that's just Teen Think Tank. And part of the, you know, whole point of that page is to share stuff just like this. So, you know, if you had a really great program and you want to share it, please get on there and share it with us. You know, our website too, we put some stuff on there, but the Facebook is, you know, much more active and easier to update on a day-to-day basis. We also have an Instagram at Teen Think Tank. I that's a little harder, I think, to share detailed programming ideas, but I would encourage everyone to ask for an invite to our Facebook group. It is a private group, but we'll let you in, and then you can, you know, follow along and post whatever's cool that's happening with you guys at your libraries. I saw someone had asked about Discord. I have used Discord minimally. Is there anyone who knows a lot about Discord who can give us a rundown of Discord? Because people are asking about that. Anybody really intimately know Discord?
I use Discord a lot. You're gonna laugh because I play Pokemon Go. I've been playing it since it started, and we have a server on there that we chat with each other about everything that's going on in the Pokemon world. But so I already had a personal account that I was using, and then we also use it for Dungeons and Dragons and various other things. But Discord's kind of like a chat, and you can chat back and forth to each other. You can leave messages, and you can like have notifications saying, you know, that somebody has posted something. But there's also an option for video, and there's also options for calling. So you can actually, so when we play D&D, we use the Roll20 website to actually do our game, but to talk, we use Discord because, and you can do it through the Roll20, but a lot of people have trouble with it. I don't know if it's the connection or what, but we tend to use Discord for talking. So we use the Discord for one thing, and then we use the Roll20 at the same time. So we consecutively use them together. I use them for the teens. So when I post a message, I just do @everyone. So it notifies everyone in the teen room. I'm like, hey, who's interested in a program today? Do you all want to meet up? Just kind of as a reminder. And then they will kind of instant message back and say, so it's kind of like instant messaging. It's really easy to use once you get it set up. And they do work really well with Jackbox games too, which my kids love.
The Teen Think Tank actually has a Discord server, which you guys are all, you know, invited to join. I agree with whoever up there. I think it was Mark said, I find it confusing and really complicated. So Mary Beth is actually the one who runs that, but we do have one. So let's see. I love the idea of using. Oh, Discord also works really well with Jackbox games. Okay, that's good to know. I think we might have maybe some new people or some people who just switched into this room. So we're just sharing virtual programs right now. If anyone who just switched into this room wants to, share anything that they're thinking about. We've talked a little bit about virtual breakout room or breakout EDU. We talked about escape rooms using Google Forms. Let's see, D&D. Oh, thank you, Erica. She just sent the Teen Think Tank Discord server, so, which I do not have on hand right now. So if anyone new wants to weigh in, just go ahead and jump in. You can go ahead and do that. We also talked about Factile and a couple of live-ish programs where participants would be maybe zooming in or, you know, using some type of format to, in a way, control their librarian as an avatar. So those are some of the programs that we've talked about so far. Anyone want to jump in? Anyone new or anyone who's been here want to jump in?
Probably our most popular one here, and that's not very popular. You know, as far as like teens, it, like you said, hard to get them sometimes to do the online stuff. But something that we've had success with is we actually have like a teen writers group that meets bi-weekly. One of the members of staff, that's like her degree is like writing. So she lets them like submit stuff to her, and she'll do like writing prompt challenges and things just to kind of help them improve their writing. Some people who might want to be novelists, or just some people like to write short stories and things like that. So that's been pretty popular. We have like 7 or 8 teams that come bi-weekly. So it's a good group, and probably don't want to have too many more than that, because then it's hard to have that good interaction where they can share their work and everybody gets a chance to talk. And they do that over Google Meet, just because the teens just have an easier time, I think, with some of the Google Meet stuff versus the Zoom.
Yeah, I think that there's something to be said for programs that have a small group that is loyal and ongoing. Like we were saying, D&D. We also have a D&D club at my library that used to meet in person but has been meeting virtually through the past year. And they just stuck with it, you know, and it's no more than 10 kids, you know, but it's the same group of kids, and it's just once a month, but they are always there. And, you know, they're like, actually, no, wait, it's every 3 weeks is when we do it. Yeah. So, you know, even though it's not like the astounding, exciting program turnout that we all hope for, you know, I think there's something to be said for those groups that maybe attract a smaller group of kids, but they're always going to turn out for it. Anybody have any other groups like that maybe don't have like the shock value of a super, you know, exciting program, but that the group of teens kind of flocks to? You guys are really quiet. Are we talking in the chat? Okay. Choose your adventure. Magic the Gathering. Yeah, is that one that you have been doing virtually, Mark, at your library? I remember we always had some kids who would play that in person at my library, but I didn't know about doing it virtually. Yeah.
We've been using Discord, which I dislike. We use Discord and untap.in, which is a magic site where you can just make your deck on there. You can make whatever deck you want and then play. And there's like it doesn't constrain you to like Magic Arena where you can only do what the cards say. This is kind of like on the honor system where you move your cards around and do what you're supposed to do. It's just like playing an actual game with somebody in person. But you can see their cards and stuff. So they seem to like that. I like it too. I just don't like the Discord because I don't know all the ins and outs of it.
Can you type that website into the chat?
Yeah.
You said you used. Okay, thanks. And Julia, no, we have not talked about virtual open mic nights. Do you want to talk about that?
Well, Julie helped me out because like Julie's in my system too.
I'm not doing one though, but
yeah,
so you might know more.
Or technically I'm not either. So
True.
There's been a bunch of branches. We have a larger system that's got multiple branches, and we're talking about how to do open mic nights, whether or not we wanted to worry about copyright, and to do kind of open mic nights that were individual to your branch, but maybe the winners could then end up having like a second sing off or, something later on. So we've got branches pairing up so that one is doing the tech while the other one's kind of leading the show. And then we're going to have, like, I want to say the first one's next month. And so there's going to be an April, a May, a June, and just kind of keep them going and see how that works. But we figured that's something that people can do at home on your own with whatever you have going anyway, what you'd be doing in your bedroom, except now you can share.
So it is something that it's going to be like a live, like they're going to, or is it something that you're not, so it's live. It's not something that they like record themselves and submit.
No, it's live. And now it's time for Rachel, who's singing. You broke me first.
I hope not. Okay, that's cool. We tried something like that. So we used to have a teen open mic night in person at my library, that it was just one of those things that started off really strong and then just like fizzled once the group of kids who were into it like aged out. There wasn't really I keep getting distracted by the chat. I don't want to miss anything you guys are saying. So anyways, we kind of gave it a break and have tried to bring it back, but the kids just, they're still not into it. We tried to do a virtual one right at the beginning, but we didn't have any turnout, but we hadn't had any turnout for the live one either. So it's like, who really knows? But I would be interested in hearing about how that goes, because that's a lot of, I don't know, it feels like a lot of moving parts and everything. So that's very cool. That Angie said I wanted to do a talent show, but due to the music rights issue. Has anyone been having problems with copyright, or have their administrators been, I don't know, giving them a hard time about that? Usually at my library, they're okay with us using copyrighted music on like a live program as long as we remove it after. We don't like leave it up.
We have a page full of virtual programming, what is effective practices, one of which says very specifically we aren't allowed to use pre-recorded music. So we can sing. So even like in story time, you can't play the background shake, shake your beanbag. You can sing shake, shake your beanbag, but you can't play it just because there were like some you can get, some you can't get, and it was just, we're just not going there, especially because we can sing, or if you're doing an open mic night, they're going to be singing anyway. It's not pre-recorded. So we just kind of were told, just don't go there. I guess it's so messy and it wasn't worth going there.
I think it probably is. And I know that we have had to change our like story time and stuff to more singing, because Facebook will actually, mute you. They'll call you out on it. I don't know if you guys have had that, where you've been doing something and then they're like, we think that you might be using copyrighted materials and we've muted you. So that can be an issue. But Angie's saying you wanted to do a talent show. But yeah, it seems to me like if the kids are just singing songs and things, that it wouldn't be, it wouldn't be a copyright issue. But I don't know what the library's policy is.
For the open mic night, we also said, and this is, did we run it by a lawyer? No, technically. But we said we'd use Zoom, not Facebook, and you'd have to register, so it would be a closed room rather than an open performance. So instead of doing like a talent show where you have the performers and everybody can come to just watch them, we said we'd do it smaller with somewhat of a cap so that we could say it's a closed room. And I guess copyright issues are different between Facebook and Zoom somehow. So it's Zoom. I guess the publishers prefer Zoom because you can close it to Facebook, where I guess you can't.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then let's see, Mark, you had mentioned that you guys partnered with your local cable.
Yeah, we're currently doing this program like right now. It's a talent show. We do a thing every year called Coffee for a Cause, which is a talent show and bake sale. But we can't have like 300 people at the library at a time to do the audience and between the audience and the performers and everybody. So we're trying to do this like pre-recorded, then we edit the video together, and then we send it to My Community Focus, which is our local cable channel, and they're going to broadcast it on TV and then on a live stream. So not sure how this is going to turn out, but that's what we're doing.
I think that's really cool. That's awesome.
Right now, I only have 3 participants, so I'm hoping to get at least like 10.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, it's hard to, I don't know, I think that I have shy kids right now, or I did before we closed, who just weren't up to, a lot of singing and playing instruments in front
When
of
we do it live, we have like 25 kids doing it, so I don't know why everyone's so shy to make a video.
Yeah, I don't know. So
More permanent, I guess.
I guess, yeah, it's on the internet, it's out there forever.
Yeah.
So Cheryl said, how is that different from TikTok? How is which platform different from TikTok?
Okay, you were talking about the music rights, and that's what I was like, well, how is that different from anybody doing, all these stupid TikTok videos that, you'll see people singing and dancing to record, to music recorded. So how is doing like a Zoom talent show different than that?
Honestly, I
guess I'm just confused.
Yeah, I don't really see the difference either, but I think that, I don't know, just
the length you play it. There are different things. There's fair use, etc. for you can play this period of it. So if you see the TikToks, they're not the whole song.
Okay, yeah. I never thought about that. I have a friend who is very prolific on TikTok, and everything he puts out, he says, I do not own the rights to this music, and there's something that he'll say like in the middle of it, or he'll post it in the flash up in the middle, that he doesn't own the rights to this dance routine or something like that, whatever. And I'm just like, okay, so I guess that's all so I assumed that's all you had to do. I didn't realize it was a time frame and there's more to it than that. So okay.
It's so complex, and everyone
kind of like the movies.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even know, you'd have to have like a lawyer get in and tell you exactly.
Yeah. That's why I kind of just scrapped it. I'm like, I'm trying to do something that's, fun and virtual, and it just seemed like there was all these like, legal things, and then, we'd have to have the some kind of waiver because their image will be on there. And I don't know. I'm like, I'll just wait and do it in person. I just keep feeling like all my best ideas, I keep pushing, like, I'll just save that for when I can do real things again. And
I ran an in-person Battle of the Bands for over 10 years at my library, and we never had an issue with the kids playing somebody's song or anything like that. So that's why I'm like a little confused about doing it virtually. How is that different than, like, say, having a live Battle of the Bands or a live music, talent contest like at school or something like that? So
yeah,
I don't know, because like when I used to do story times, I would play the pre-recorded.
Yeah,
and
I know.
And, like, our event people never had a problem with that. So
because unfortunately, we have had lots of conversations about this. Story time is considered a closed room. So that's part of there's closed room versus open room, and part of the problem is also that not everybody is agreeing on virtually what is open and closed, because of course it's new. So and also that just because we've been doing some of these things, apparently it wasn't necessarily legal. We just weren't getting caught. You know what I mean?
Nice to know.
Right, because you're saying we're doing these things, and you're like, well, no one ever said anything. It's like, yes, but now that you're on online, like you're saying with, YouTube will shut you down. And you go, is that a problem? I've been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah,
Well,
that makes no sense whatsoever now.
right. So it's also it's like everybody's fighting amongst themselves and wants to copy or, protect their copyrights. But
Right.
also, yeah, sometimes I think they're being too harsh because they're worried that if they don't stop you, they will have given up their right. So now so that's all the thing is or have we always been breaking the law or whatever and no one caught us? Because
Yeah.
who knows?
Oh, darn.
Sorry, go ahead, Christina.
I hate to interrupt the conversation, but I have got to be out on our desk. So
Oh, that's okay.
this has been very enjoyable, and I'm so happy to hear that it's going to be recorded so I can check back in later and also check the other ones that I didn't get a chance to look at. So
Yes, thank you so much. And
thanks for having it. Bye.
Yeah.
Sorry it was late.
Bye. And guys, it is noon right now. We've got about another half an hour of breakout rooms. I know that we've kind of switched, people have been switching in and out again. So I just want to take 1 second to say, guys, we're just talking real informally about online programming. So feel free to jump in with any questions or successful programs you've done or unsuccessful programs, anything. We're just kind of having an open conversation here. So, and Christina, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I jumped in right when Julia was talking about how what we always were doing was maybe illegal, and now we're finding out. What were you referring to? Just reading stories, reading books online, or something else?
Saying about music and music copyrights, and I guess they're way more complicated than we realized because you don't have a lawyer who is sharking story times or whatever it is, but you do on YouTube. So there's things where there's some things, I guess, that technically we probably should have had copyrights for before. And then there's some things where maybe it really isn't wrong, but they're shutting people down to make sure they're protecting copyrights.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's, yeah.
I'm kind of with Angie, what Angie was saying before, where I kind of feel like if it's a program that is going to take more mental energy and hassle to find out if I can even do it than it will take to plan and do the program, I'm just not doing it. Like it's like you have to conserve your time and your energy and everything for stuff that you can actually make happen. And yeah, sometimes with those legal questions, it's so complicated that I'm like, forget it, I'll do something else.
Yeah, especially when you don't know how many are going to show up. I mean, we did our mini con online, and that's usually in person, has like a ton of kids. And, a lot of prep went into like the planning of this virtual mini con, and we had outside presenters, and we lined up like having them present and, all that Zoom, machinations that requires. And like, we had some kids there and they had fun, but it was just like the amount of effort for the amount of kids that showed up. It's kind of like, man, we've had more success with take and makes, just old fashioned, like grab a bag and take it home and make something than with any of the virtual stuff. So I'm kind of like, I don't want to put a ton of mental energy into something when it's like, you don't even know how many people are going to be there,
Well, I think we're all seeing, especially now, just like Zoom fatigue, the kids are in school. Like, I get it. I wouldn't want to, go home and get on the computer for an hour again for a library program. And I think their parents too are also like, you've been on a screen all day. You don't need any more screen time. So like, it's a battle we're fighting here to get, it's always a battle getting teens to come to anything, much less come to
and now we can't even feed them. We used to be able to at least lure them in with maybe pizza or something.
Exactly. Anybody else have anything that they want to toss in right now? Any programs that you've done online or are planning that you would like to share?
Well, this isn't program specific.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go. You want to go ahead?
No, you go. I'll go after.
But when we've been doing our online programs, we've had like doing the program and then having someone be like our fellow staff member be our tech person so that they could watch the chat and let people in when you do the program. It's now expanding a little bit, like where we've, because we have a lot of branches in our system, we're partnering with say a teen librarian at another branch, and in the past, if it was in person, we couldn't do that because, you know, the staff time, we'd have to leave the building and go to another branch. So it's kind of exciting to be able to partner with someone else. And I don't know if it, you know, because they could promote it like on their side of town and our side of town. And maybe I was thinking maybe even different library systems, if we partner together, that could be kind of fun, because that's not, definitely something we couldn't do before, but we could do now, and maybe bring teens from all over.
I think that would be really cool. I have a question. Has anyone does anyone, I'm sorry, Christine, we're gonna move to you, I promise.
That's fine.
Has anyone used any kind of software that allows you, not like Zoom, but allows you to have two people, you know, just like, does that make sense? That can have like, I don't know.
You mean?
Yes. Yes.
What was that?
In Zoom. Or Google Meet. You can also in Google Meet, I think.
Google Meet.
Or you can.
Yeah. I guess
we do it in Zoom, and sometimes we do have like co-host it, but yeah. I mean, it's been pretty easy to do in Zoom.
I guess the reason that I am just trying to, like, I'm just thinking about stuff on like that we would want to put on Facebook or like post to Facebook, but we haven't found an easy way to be able to, I don't know, record two people at the same time without having people, I don't know. Yeah, never mind. Let's just move on.
Well, like,
I don't even know. I'm having trouble with
Zoom and then put it on Facebook, because like I know on Facebook you're only on one library's Facebook page, so you have to pick which library is the host.
Yeah,
is that what you're talking about? And you'd rather have two libraries co-Facebook each other, kind of.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's possible, but something like that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Facebook Messenger rooms, kind of, but those only have 8 people in them.
I've used Discord. My core group of teens and I continued to do programming on Discord during the pandemic, and we've done our Dungeons and Dragons group and our Jackbox game night, and it allows one person, and then they added me, and we are allowed to let people in the room. We're also allowed to ask or to make them leave if they get disruptive or anything. So Discord was a great venue for us to use.
Okay. Cool. Okay, we're gonna go to Christine now because I totally
fine.
So
no, it's a great discussion. Just to piggyback off of what Stacy said, we actually just started using Discord, and we're finding that a lot of teens are, you know, they love that platform. But in Zoom, we generally make, we tend to do regular Friday night teen virtual programs. Pre-pandemic, we had a big following with in-person Friday night programs, and we had to have multiple meeting rooms set up with gaming and ping pong and dodgeball, believe it or not. So we can't do that virtually, but I was going to say, we do try to have 2 part-time librarians. We make them host and co-host so that one can kind of monitor the chat and what's going on, let participants in. So it's nice to have that support. The other thing I wanted to mention is, you know, there's that whole discussion about screen time and burnout, and our teens are experiencing that too, especially since most of them have been hybrid, and now they're finally going back to school 5 days, and a lot of them are, you know, they don't even want to go back in person. But what we've done to kind of combat that in terms of like getting them to still come to our programs, we'll try to pair something that they like to do online. Like we've been doing, I don't know if this was mentioned before, but an Animal Crossing meetup. So we try to pair, you know, we have them come on if they have the Nintendo Switch, but we always have them sign on in Zoom so that there's that social aspect too. So they're not just meeting up, you know, with their code on the Switch. They're actually talking with us and the librarian that's facilitating the group. So like anything that Super Smash Brothers, Among Us, and like Stacy was saying before, Discord's a great way to do that too. But a lot of those kids are just looking for that socialization. So we always try to pair it with something live. And I'm sure a lot of you can attest to this too with your teens. It's like pulling teeth to get them to even turn on their cameras. But you know, with Discord, they can just do the chat, right, Stacy?
Yeah, we just do voice chat. A couple times I've messed up and pressed the video, and the kids are like, "Hi, Stacy," you know, but they prefer just to stay in the voice chat. So I don't push that, and you know, it's a great, you know, it's a great way for some of the more awkward teens to be able to, you know, participate. And you know, the group has actually, it's kind of dwindled. I think we were talking about getting, you know, virtual fatigue and stuff, and it is starting to get a little, you know, the groups have kind of died down a little bit. So, and I said, you know, as soon as we get the green light to do in-person programming, which probably won't be till fall, you know, the first program I'm bringing back is Dungeons and Dragons, because we can social distance, and you know, but it's been fairly successful. And like I said, you know, they enjoy using Discord more than Google Meets and Zoom. So I'm like, any way I can have a program, I'm good with it.
So when you guys are using, Stacy and Christine, when you guys are using Discord or Zoom, so in your playing, you said like a game, like Animal Crossing. So are they just like sitting there on screen holding their, because they can't see each other's screens or anything. So it's just kind of like they're just sitting there. So it's just kind of like hanging out virtually.
Yeah, they're meeting up virtually. Usually we'll do like Animal Crossing town tour, and then they'll, or you know, island tour, and they'll jump to each other's islands, and but they're also talking on screen too, which is nice. So they get to see their friends regularly. But that's not the case with all of the program. You know, it's a bunch of trial and error, and seeing what they're into.
Because they're playing on, like with the Animal Crossing, they're playing Animal Crossing on themselves, but you guys just have them log into Zoom. So, so they're doing it together, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea. I'm actually going to talk to some of my video game kids, teen groups, and see if that's something they'd be interested in. Because it's all about just socialization at this point.
Yeah, they end up talking about other things besides Animal Crossing. You know, and we have a part-timer, he's amazing with them, and they just end up going off on different tangents. But that's what I feel like is like the most important thing about those sessions, you know.
Absolutely. Dungeons and Dragons has been, you know, like I said, it was a program I've had for 5 years. And then when the pandemic started, it was a very smooth transition. The kids were just like, let's just move it to Discord. And I was the only one that had to learn how to use Discord. And I set it up with my dungeon master, and it's like, okay, you know, we let people in, and we can, you know, I'm just the live, you know, I play with them. So, I mean, it's been super successful, and there's been hardly any disruption in any campaign or anything. So, you know, it's been great.
Anybody else want to share? I actually have a question for you guys. So something that I've been kind of tossing around is, and you guys, I've seen this for younger kids. I've actually seen it for like my kids in school, where they'll do, you know, when they're at home Zooming with their class or their teacher, they'll do like a scavenger hunt, you know, where they'll all be on Zoom together, and the teacher will be like, go find a hairbrush, and they like are running it and everything. And I don't know, like my 6-year-old thinks that this is the most exciting thing ever. And I just was curious if you guys think that that's something that could be adapted for older kids, like a virtual scavenger. And Christina, your thumbs upping me.
I have done that with adults several times this past year. My friends and I get together, and it is hilarious and a lot of fun. And I think teens would also do it. Well, and I did do it once with my high school book club. The key, I think, is to make them the items you have to find should be vague. Something red, something from your childhood, you know, something like that, so that they have a choice of what they're getting. And then, I mean, then you can also throw in some specific things like, you know, early on we did a ticket stub, and everybody was like, yeah, when's the last time I went to a movie or something, you know, and you could have specific, and you give them points. The first person back, so yeah, it's tricky if you have a large group, but if you have like 5 to 10 people, it's pretty manageable. you have to be monitoring the screen, and the first person back with the item gets 10 points, and then everybody else who comes back with an item within the time limit gets 5 points. And so they get, some people get really competitive about it. And you can be lenient with the points and just anybody who brought something back, but you could, it helps too if you have like a second person to be monitoring who's coming back first, or to keep track of the points for you, so that you can be the host and be doing the interacting. And then of course, with adults, when we were doing it, they were telling stories about the object, so you could, well, this, like something on a vacation, and they would talk about that, or a family heirloom, and they talk about, and so it was kind of fun for us because we were getting to know each other. With the teens, I don't remember the stories so much. They're more all about going to get the thing and coming back and getting the points. But yeah, totally, it's a great game.
All right, I love that. I didn't think about doing it in that, with that. I like the vague questions because I think that could make it really, really funny and fun for them.
Yeah.
And it also seems like something that requires very little time on our part as far as preparation and everything.
Oh yeah. You can, sorry, I'm jumping the gun again. You can Google virtual scavenger hunts. You will find a ton of Pinterest pages and things, and then you can pull from various to get your lists of things to do. We had like something furry, something round, something with wheels, something that makes a noise, but not your phone, that kind of a thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and you can't, and the other rule is that you can't use the same object twice.
Okay.
So something that makes noise and for something that has wheels, that's two different, you can't bring the same car back again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Stacey?
Yeah, it does sound like a lot of fun, and but I've been worried about preparation because we really don't have a teen audience at any of our branches. Like the main branch a little bit, I'm at a branch. We just kind of got a renovation with a little bit of a teen area, which I hope will attract more teens, but I've been leery about doing things that require a lot of work. Like I had an idea for trivia, but I didn't know how many people would come, things like that. So, but things that I do for the tweens so much have been somewhat successful, so maybe I could adapt some of those for teens, I'm not sure.
Tracy, if you go on Kahoot, they actually have some pre-saved trivia already, so you wouldn't have to create games necessarily, maybe just review the questions ahead of time, but it might save you some prep work,
Right.
And I find they enjoy the Kahoot games, so.
And
Okay.
You can also get I'm on Kahoot, and we did Harry Potter, we've done Star Wars, I've done a chocolate fest, and I still have all of those. And I can share, other people on Kahoot can share their Kahoot with you, and then you can run it.
Okay.
And I'm totally don't, so you can also reach out to other librarians and say, any of you have Kahoots shared? And then when you get it shared, you can then like duplicate it or edit. You can make it, you have to, I forget how you do that exactly. I think you duplicate it, and then you can edit it if you want to take out questions. But if you just want to run it, if you like all the questions, you just run it.
Yeah, that's great, because I'm with you, Tracy. I think with us being closed, for a year, I feel so out of touch, like with the and everything like that. And I honestly, when so we're reopening this week, but with the policy that anyone under 16 has to be with a parent, and our library is like catty-cornered from our middle and high school. So we have like a ton of like middle schoolers come over and hang out every day after school, and they are just starting this week to go back to full-time instead of hybrid. So even though we're opening, it's not going to be the same situation. So I have no idea who's going to be there or what it's going to look like when we get to do that again. So I also, I'm hesitant to like put a lot of time and work into programs when, I'm not even seeing the kids regularly. So I can't be like, hey, come to this. Hey, remember that, it's really difficult. It's been hard to maintain those ties, I think. I mean, even if you had them before, it's been hard to maintain them throughout the pandemic. So,
Yeah. We didn't even really have that many ties because we're not even really that close to the high school.
Yeah.
So there's the barrier with that too.
Yeah. And so, but even, we're kind of in the same boat, even though we are, we're the same boat as you, is where we don't really know what's going to happen or how that's going to make out.
So Rachel, we're across from the school. The middle school is directly across from us, and the high school is like hop, skip, and a jump. And there's literally the buses come from the high school to the middle school, so high schoolers get off there. And we average 85 kids pre-pandemic in the building every day.
Wow.
After pandemic, so we opened partially in June, but not for, you know, that was still summer. But when the school started up, the school was online or went live, went in person, but then went back to online in November for a few months and went back January. Okay, so now we were ready, even at the beginning of school, we were ready for, okay, we're going to have to, we tried to put the word out. We can only have 9 kids at a time because we make the 10th person, 10 people only. We tried to put but we were still prepared for a whole bunch of people that were like going to try to storm the library and come in for programs. And we didn't, and we still haven't had anybody except for the people that register. We get anywhere between 5 and 9 kids, and we run 2 programs a day. And we still only get in each program 5 to 9 kids. And that's it. And it'd be interesting to see what you end up with. I feel that it's the parents are like, nope, come home.
Yeah.
You're not, I don't want you going anywhere. You know, they're being really responsible and want their kids to come home. They don't want them to come and hang out, even though we're limited, you know, and we social distance when we do our programs. So it'd be interesting for you to see what you end up with.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect. We normally have not quite as many as you, but you know, we'd have like 40 or 50 kids after school every day. But again, those online programs are just drawing the same few kids every time. So all of those other kids, it's like we're missing out on them. Whereas normally in my weekly after school program that I did, you know, I would have 20 kids, 25 kids, you know, so I would at least get half of the ones that came after school because the others were like playing Minecraft. But now it's like I have such a small portion of the kids. So that's been difficult with the virtual. So, okay, everyone's sharing some of their Kahoot names so in the chat and things. So if you have a Kahoot, make sure you write all that stuff down. This is recorded, but I actually don't know if I don't think the chat is recorded. So, and I'll copy it and everything, but I just want to make sure everyone has the info they need from there before because we're in about 7 minutes, we're actually done with this breakout room and we're going to go back to the main room. Okay, cool. Anybody else?
I do have one last little thing about Kahoot. I think now though that you have to have a paid account in order to have multiple players. From what we were understanding when we tried to do one, you only get like 3 or 4 people with a free account. So we went to the minimum upgrade, which is $36 a year, or you can pay by the month, so you could just pay $3 to get it for the month, so that you can have up to 100 players. I mean, it's like this big jump between like a very tiny amount of people and a larger number. So just to keep that in mind, I think Kahoot they're realizing how much they're being used now by teachers and by us, and they're kind of taking advantage of it. So, but we still love it.
Is that a recent thing?
Yeah, that's recent because last summer we didn't have that issue. We used our regular Kahoot account and we had like 20. Mark, how many do we have? 20 players maybe? I don't know.
I had to check because we did one and we should sign up for a free, I want to say educator's account because you got to pick the right free one. And we had about, it was probably less than 10, but so maybe 8 or 9. So, and I know one of our branches or 2 of them, they partner together and do it every month. And I'm pretty sure they don't have to pay. So I'll have to ask them how it's going for them, but they probably don't get like much more than that, I'm guessing.
Yeah, because Mark Mark is in Twinsburg and now Akron and Hudson, we're going to do again our Battle of the Books virtually this summer. We normally have a Battle of the Books in person, but so we each have a team of 4 people, and we use Zoom so that they can have audio, and so I can share the Kahoot screen, and then they play on their phones, and that was pretty successful. But yeah. We went ahead and we used it. We just did a Harry Potter trivia and we had 43 people log in, or 43 families. We could tell there was like sometimes 2, 3, or 4 people at at the house, logged into Zoom to do Harry Potter trivia. So that was like, wow. So
For all this time, you can't go wrong with Harry Potter. It still brings the people out. Does anyone have any want to share anything about other ways other than programming that they've virtually connected with their teens, like using, I don't know if anyone uses TikTok or Instagram or any accounts like that they've had success using? My library has just an Instagram for teens, and we try and post on there every couple of days. But okay, we just got a reminder, breakout rooms will be closing in 5 minutes. And I think it just kicks us out. So be prepared for that. But anyways, anybody use, I don't know, TikTok is like the thing now. I don't even want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. Anybody use anything like that?
Well, I have like all the accounts because I have a daughter, and that's the rule. If you have it, I have it. But I will say I haven't connected with the teens yet. However, I have a lot of the teens, and by teens, I mean the high schoolers, going, give me your Snapchat, give me your Snapchat. And I'm like, no, because it's my personal one. And I was like, no. Well, then a couple of them found me, but I've known these kids for like 4 years, and they found me through my daughter because they're friends with her. So that now if they reach out, and I'm going,
yeah,
maybe I should make one for the library because they're finding me. And now I have to get all used to Snapchat because it's usually I just get on and make sure my daughter is doing all right. And now I'm like, what does this do? I don't know how to do this. So.
I tried Snapchat for a little bit with my library, and but it took me forever. I'm not an idiot, but that one was the hardest one for me to figure out how to do stuff.
Same with me. I'm very tech savvy, and that app, I was just like, where do I find this?
Yeah. I finally deleted
I swear
it.
they do that.
I wasn't getting any feedback from the teens on it, but I do on Instagram. Sometimes I get feedback, so
nice.
I keep that one.
I run my library's Facebook page and Instagram, and then also for Teen Think Tank, our Facebook page and Instagram. And I just feel like I spend so much time doing social media every day that I don't want to take on another platform. But I am curious what you guys have used that you think has had the most success. Does anyone use TikTok for their library? Nobody? Okay.
Remind.com. Remind is still far and away the best because kids will contact me all the time on that and say, hey, and ask me questions. I hardly get messages on any other thing. But
and they're used to it because a lot of the schools are using it. And I was telling Christina and them in the other room that I'm not allowed to use it at work anymore. And I had great success with it. I thought so. But if you're able to use it, absolutely, they're already used to using it, and they're always like, get a remind. I'm like, I can't.
Is there a reason you can't use that at your library anymore?
I would have to use my phone for work, and because there's that like millionth of a minuscule chance that if any kind of lawsuit came down in the library, they can take your phone for evidence. So they really want you to refrain from using it. I'm like, then get me a phone that's just for teen use.
And you don't have to, you can do it on a website. You still can just use it on a website. Don't they know that?
That's true.
It's still a website.
Yeah.
Most of the time, that's how I use it. And then it goes to your email. The messages go through to your email. So then you can,
Yeah, that's true. I could see about doing it that way, but I'm afraid
and
they're
you
going to
could
be
prove
like,
to them, I don't have it. I don't have the app installed.
Yeah. I do because my daughter with school has the app, so I have the app. So I don't know. I don't know if they accept it that way or if they just now wash their hands of it now. So I don't know.
Hey, I just want to say it's 12:30. I think we're about to kick down any second now. So thank you so much for being part of this room. I think we had a really good discussion, a really productive discussion. Like I said, I took notes, and so we'll make all that stuff available to you guys. Yes, it just popped up that I can leave or it's going to kick me out in 49 seconds. So I will see you guys back in the main room, and we'll have that half an hour wrap up. But thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.